Back with another video for you today, and this is my top 20 favorite designer fragrances currently for 2018, and I'm going to tell you what they are coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Let's get right to this list. I did the big ass designer fragrance haul recently, and immediately after that, well actually I shot that back in late March, and I went to Italy and came back, and I wanted to get this video out there as soon as the big ass designer fragrance haul aired. This is 20 fragrances that I love. They're from designers. They're all under 100 or around the $100 range. So these are inexpensive to some. I guess some people consider them expensive, but with my habit of buying fragrances, some of these are really inexpensive, and you can find deals on these, and you can get them for around $40, $50, $60. Some are not at discounters, unfortunately, but most of them are. So after I did that haul video, I wanted to take the fragrances in there and see if I can fit them in. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fit all of them in this list because there's so many good ones, but what I left off were fragrances like Carolina Herrera CH Men. That didn't make the list. Gentlemen Only by Givenchy ABSOLU didn't make the list. Gucci Pour Homme 2 didn't make the list. There's other fragrances here that I wanted to include on the list. I did a top 10 designer fragrances for 2017 list last year. This was on there. It's SAUVAGE Parfum. It didn't make the list this time because there is a 2017 edition, which I have smelled. I don't currently own. They're slightly different, so once I get that, we'll see if it makes the list next year. But I also wanted to add LALIQUE's ENCRE Noir Sport, which I really love, but didn't make the list. Valentino's UOMO Noir Absolu didn't make the list. The original Eau Sauvage almost made it, but didn't make it, but I love this one. It's a great freshie, classy, masculine. Wanted to try and fit Ultra Zest on there and didn't make it as well. Dolce & Gabbana D&G, the one EDP didn't make it. And well, actually a couple more. Gentleman Givenchy didn't make the list. I wanted to, but the new one I just picked up. We'll do a review of that soon, the EDP version of that. We'll see if that makes the list next year. And last but not least, VARVATOS Dark Rebel, John VARVATOS. This was on the top 10 list last year. Unfortunately, it didn't make the list this year. So let's get right to the list. So at number 20, we're going to the house of DUNHILL, one of the only fragrances in my collection from this house. And this is DUNHILL Icon. So DUNHILL Icon, I love this bottle, and I also love the scent. It's a very fresh fragrance, slightly hinting at Terre d'Hermès. And speaking of Terre d'Hermès, it's not on the list. And unfortunately, I don't have any Hermès on this list. But going back to this, it's very green and woody. To me, it smells like almost like the lemon or orange tree leaves and twigs mixed in with some other woody notes. It's really a great freshie, but this is the kind of freshie that's actually substantial, like has enough heft to it, depth to it, rather than like a almost clean and clear fresh fragrance. That's what I like about it. So it's number 20 in this list, and let's go to the next one. At number 19, we're going to the house of Tom Ford. This is Tom Ford Noir Extreme. What I like about this one is it's completely different from the original release Tom Ford Noir. And what I like about this also is because it's kind of slightly bordering gourmand, because it has that yummy pistachio, kulfi, ice cream note in it. That's what makes it really delicious. So it does have a little bit of unisex appeal as well. I don't think it's totally like a masculine men's fragrance. And in fact, they actually have Tom Ford Noir Femme, which kind of smells very similar to this, almost identical, but that one has a little bit of floral touch. But going back to this, it's really a great release. If you like sweeter, more almost gourmandy type men's fragrances, check this one out. It's Tom Ford Noir Extreme. That's at number 19. So at number 18, we're going to the house of Tom Ford again. I have these kind of grouped together because I like them as much as I'm saying I like them. This is Noir Anthracite. So this came out last year. It's a polarizing scent. It's either a love it or hate it fragrance. It's a love it for me. I would have wanted it to be a little stronger, but I think a lot of people don't like it because of what it is. I've heard some really, really negative things about it, but this to me, going back to the early 80s, reminds me of some classic men's fragrances, especially things like Halston Z14 that my uncle wore, that I stole sprays from. It's quite lovely. It's green, it's herbal, it's woody, slightly metallic, or slightly, I don't know, something unique, like earthy about it that I really like. It is underrated. I'm not sure if this will be around too long because of the hate for it, but right now it's really awesome. So it's Noir Anthracite by Tom Ford, and that's at number 18. At number 17, going to the house of YSL, this is La Nuit, L'Homme. This is the one that was featured in the video, the big ass fragrance haul, designer fragrance haul video. Now I love this one. I love the way it smells, and I find it to be the most unique out of the whole YSL L'Homme collection of flankers and releases. What I like about this is the cardamom. It's spicy, it's aromatic, it's great to wear, and sometimes with my body chemistry it comes off like tobacco, which I really love tobacco fragrances. Only problem is it's a light fragrance. It's been reformulated so much that it's kind of not very long lasting. Thanks L'Oreal for doing that. But still, the scent is still the same, almost identical to when it first came out, and it's a great release as far as scent goes. So this is La Nuit, L'Homme by YSL, and that's at number 17. At number 16, we're going to the house of Prada, and this is Prada L'Homme, this one right here. Now I really love this one, and I like the fact that it kind of is in that same family of DIOR Homme, Valentino UOMO, and things like that. There's several fragrances in this kind of style, and I guess the inspiration has kind of like bled into all the different designers to release something similar because we're all used to it. And if we like that one, we're gonna like this one, if that makes sense. This one's actually really, really good. I love it, and I like it more than the EDP, which generally I prefer the EDPs more than the Eau de Toilettes. But for some reason, I like this one because I find it to be a little more louder, projects a little more compared to the EDP. But if you don't know it, check it out. This is Prada L'Homme, and that's at number 16. At number 15, we're going to another Italian designer. This is from Gucci, and this is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Now, Gucci Poem 2 didn't make the list, but this one did, and I love this one. It's a pretty rough, slightly animalic leather and vetiver. It does turn off some people like Noir Anthracite. It's a love it or hate it kind of scent. It's a kind of a complete departure of the previous flankers in this series of Gucci Guilty fragrances. That's what I like about it. Even the woman's is great, but I wanted to make sure these are all men's fragrances, men's releases. That's why this one is on the list and not the woman's, but really do love this one. It is very non-traditional for a designer fragrance. Kind of hints at like the earlier fragrances, just like Noir Anthracite, going back to like 80s and things like that. So very unique fragrance. If you like leather, if you like vetiver, woody, dark, cold, not like savory, not sweet kind of a fragrance, this one's the one to try. You gotta like animalic as well, because it does definitely go animalic. So this is Gucci Guilty Absolute. This used to be in the top 10. Last year I did a top 10 and it was in the top 10, but unfortunately it slipped down. This is Mugler's Pure Malt. Now I love Pure Malt, I love Mugler, but I only have 2 fragrances on this list. Of course, Ultra Zest didn't make it, and this one is slipping. For some reason, I'm getting tired of this fragrance, but this is all about a boozy, whiskey, barley fragrance. It's a flanker to the original Amen, which I still love. And I love this one more. I loved it a lot. I wore it one winter in Italy when I first picked it up back in 2011, which I wore it to death. Just loved it. But I've gotten tired of it kind of. It kind of smells a little like it's getting old or something. And I've had new bottles, so it's not like my bottle is old. But maybe I'll come back to it. Maybe they'll kind of redo the fragrance. I'm thinking it's reformulation or something has been done. But either way, it's still a pretty good scent. Pure Malt from Mugler, and that's at number 14. Going to the house of Valentino. This is Valentino Uomo Intense, this one right here. This one is all about iris and the hazelnut, but this is actually the more amped up version. And here, it's kind of similar to Prada L'Homme, and also kind of has similarities to DIOR Homme line of fragrances. But I like this one more than the Prada L'Homme Intense, whereas this one actually is really, really beautiful and tasty. It smells really yummy. And it kind of has similarities to the DIOR Homme line of fragrances, as I said. That's what I like about it. I like the iris and the hazelnut. And it does come off a bit chocolatey as well, which is really, really yummy. But it's definitely not a gourmand. Really great scent, perfect for winter, but it's also a great, great designer. One of my favorite designer fragrances as of late, and that's Valentino Uomo Intense. Going to the house that hardly anybody speaks about, and I've got 2 fragrances back to back from the same launch. They launched 3 fragrances at once. I reviewed one of these I don't like one of the fragrances in that trio called Courage, but I really love Fortitude, this one right here from Robert Graham, and I really, really love Valor from Robert Graham. Fortitude is at number 12, Valor is at number 11. I reviewed this one if you want to check out my video about it. Have you tried these guys? Are you familiar with this line? Very, very underrated, very niche quality designers. You can pick these up at the discounters for around $50, $60, 100 ml bottles, and you're gonna smell so original compared to everybody else that's in your neighborhood, because they're not that hyped. Not a lot of people are talking about them, but really, really great scents. This is all about tobacco, slightly animalic, very, very slightly with ambery touches. And this one is herbal with the sage note that I really, really love. And it's got this like white or light colored ambery, not necessarily colored, but lighter kind of a amber, where it does come off a little ambery, but still it's very, very herbal and delicious. Man, it's so good. It is really, really good. I think I'm going to wear this for my scent of the day today because I really love this one. But if you don't know it, do check it out because it's really great. So this is Valor at number 11. This is Fortitude at number 12. On to the top 10, and this is, at number 10 is from the house of Armani. This is Acqua di Gio Profumo. So this is really, really great. I love this one. It reminds me of the original Acqua di Gio from 1997 when I first was given a gift of a bottle, and I was going to film school at that time, and I kept wearing that fragrance so much. Really, really loved it. But what has happened with the Acqua di Gio now, the original Eau de Toilette, is become so watered down, where when they launched this one, I kind of had dismissed it. But went back to it, smelled it, and I'm like, wow, this takes me back to 1997 when I was wearing the original Acqua di Gio that I loved. That's what I like about this. It's stronger, it's more intense, but smells great. It is an aquatic, but the aquatic part is kind of like, it's definitely the styling of the fragrance, but it's almost like it's enveloped the fragrance with other notes where you have hints of the aquatic touches, and then your other notes like patchouli and incense are more dominant, if that makes sense. That's what I love about this one. This is Acqua di Gio Profumo at number 10. At number 9, we're going to the house of Carolina Herrera, and this is unfortunately not CH Men, because I mentioned I left that one off, but this is CH Men Prive. This one was in the Big Ass Designer Haul video. The reason this one's on there and the other one's not is because I'm a little tired of that one, but I love this one. I love the booziness about this one. Only thing I don't like about these two fragrances is the fact that they're not very long-lived, or they're short-lived, but they are eau de toilettes after all, and that's pretty much the life of the fragrances. You're gonna get about 4.5 to 5.5 at the pushing 6 hours with these fragrances, but I really love this one. It's the sugar and leather plus boozy whiskey. That's what I like about it, and I still have this designer in my collection. So this is Carolina Herrera CH Men Prive at number 9. At number 8, going to the house of Chanel, and this is Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, this one right here. So what I like about this one is the fact that it's fresh and very universally loved by everyone. Every time I wear it, I get compliments from it. It's definitely a compliment getter, and it's universally loved, and it's a crowd pleaser. People tend to love it, and people generally talk about it when I wear it. I wear it to the gym, and women actually ask me what I'm wearing because it smells so good on me. I like the EDP version more. Just recently, Chanel put up the new flanker that's coming out to this, the Parfum, the pure perfume version of Bleu de Chanel, on their website. It's coming out soon, so look for that. But in the meantime, I'll really enjoy the EDP. I love it. So that's at number 8. Another Chanel fragrance in the list. In the top 10, we've got 2 Chanel fragrances. This is Allure Edition Homme Blanche. So it's Allure Homme Edition Blanche. And what I like about this one is it's a lemony, creamy edition, or a remake of the original Allure Homme, which I find to be pretty nice. I like it. I wore it, but I don't gravitate towards that more. But it is such a great scent. This one I love. The creamy touch just makes that Allure Homme men's fragrance a lot more interesting, and that's what I like about this. It's lemony creamy. If you like that sort of thing, definitely check it out. This is Allure Homme Edition Blanche at number 7. At number 6, we're going to the house of Mugler. Again, this is the second Mugler on this 20 list, and this is Pure Havane. So Pure Havane still is in my top 10, but it is sinking because there's other fragrances that I'm loving more in the designers, but Mugler is one of my favorite houses. DIOR is one of my favorite houses. The other houses, Chanel I guess also, but the other houses are kind of toss-up. But I love Pure Havane, and I love it because of the tobacco. It's got this like a honey and tobacco combo that kind of comes off a little bit like cherry-like. Very, very sweet, slightly gourmandish. That's what I like about this. If you don't know it, do check it out. If you like sweet fragrances, tobacco fragrances, this one's one to try. So this is Pure Havane at number 6. Top 5. And number 5, we're going to the house of LALIQUE, and this is ENCRE Noir à l'extrême, this one right here. Now this one is an ultra luxury version or classy version of the original ENCRE Noir, which I still like, which I find to be a fragrance that everybody should experience if you're getting into the fragrance community and starting to buy up unique fragrances. But I find this one like the more classy, luxury styling version of the ENCRE Noir. And it also reminds me a little bit of Sycamore from Chanel. So if you like Sycamore, you can't afford it, this is the one to try. You can always go with the original, but I find this one a lot closer to Sycamore. It's just a classy release. It's all about vetiver, dark, but gorgeous, gorgeous release. You can find these for under $50 too at the discounter. So LALIQUE ENCRE Noir à l'extrême is at number 5. At number 4, we're going to a house that's rarely spoken about. It's an accessories and luggage and that kind of a designer house from Italy called Mandarina Duck, and this is Mandarina Duck Black Extreme. And this one's probably going to be the wild card out of all of these because this one I think has been discontinued, but you can get the original. But I find this version to be really close to Xerjoff's Uden, even though I find Uden to be ultra luxury, ultra amazing. But if you can't afford Uden, this is the one to find and buy because it's really, really close. People say Edition Blanche is also close, which I find true, but this one I love way more than this one. There's something about this one that the notes kind of like spread out more, whereas Edition Blanche comes off a little muted, like really like you can't distinguish notes, even though I still like it, but I love this one way more. This is really, really great. If you can find a bottle, get it because it's that good. So this is Mandarina Duck Black Extreme. Awesome release. At number 3, we're going to the house of Bentley. This is Bentley for Men Intense. And what I like about this one is because it's very, very niche style. And this one's all about, well, it actually reminds me of Luban's Idole fragrance and also Chambre Noire from Olfactive Studio. It's kind of like the combo of those two niche fragrances. It's boozy, it's rum, it's incensey, it's smoky and leathery at the same time. Really, really great fragrance. Although my last bottle, I think the juice was darker, this one seems lighter, but perhaps it could be because it was already old and sometimes the juice gets dark on its own. You never know, but a great release. It's funny though, I think the perfumer for this, and the perfumer for this is the same woman, Nathalie Lorson. I could be wrong, but I think it is. It's funny that they're back to back here. Great, great perfumer. But if you don't know Bentley for Men Intense, it's one of the best cheapies. It's around $50 you can get it, and it smells great. So if you like this sort of a fragrance, you might want to try Bentley for Men Intense. It's that good. So at number 2, we're going to the house of Dior, and this is Fahrenheit Le Parfum. So this one is taking the original Fahrenheit and making it more cozy, more boozy, more gourmand. It's leather, of course. It's violet, the original notes, but you got lots of vanilla, bourbon vanilla in here, and it adds a unique, cozy, gourmandish touch to the original fragrance. This is my favorite flanker currently from the Fahrenheit series of fragrances. ABSOLU was also good, but that one's discontinued. And unfortunately, the designers do that kind of thing, so hopefully they don't do it with this one because I really love it. But if they do, I'll have a backup bottle now. This is not my backup bottle. So if you haven't tried this, I highly recommend you try it. This is Fahrenheit Le Parfum, and that's at number 2. And if you probably know me by now, you probably know what my number 1 is because I haven't mentioned it. And this is Dior Homme Parfum. 2 Diors back to back because they're my favorite fragrances in my complete designer lineup of fragrances. But this is a very, very sexy leather, iris, rose, lipsticky kind of vibe. And if you don't know the Dior Homme collection of fragrances, you've got to try it because this is probably one of the best designer fragrances out there currently on the market. It's an absolute love for me. If the Dior Homme Intense was the only version, that probably would make it at number 1, but this one made it to number 1, and I only wanted to put one from the series, so this is it. It's also a beast. If you don't know it, you have to check this one out. It's my favorite. I just hope they keep it, but But you know what they did with this? They redid it and launched a 2017 version. That's why this is not on the list anymore. So I hope to obtain a bottle of the 2017 edition. And I'm just afraid they might do it with this one, or they might do it with Fahrenheit as well. We'll see. But for now, I'm in love with this one. This is one of my favorite fragrances and my #1 designer fragrance in my top 20 designer fragrances list. So guys, that's my list. What do you think? Did I miss anything that I should have put on here? Actually, this is my collection, and this is what I have in my collection. I know I have a lot more that I didn't mention, but currently this is what I have, and I picked the 20 favorites, and this is my list. But if I'm missing anything, and if I should have something in my collection that's really, really good, please list in the comments, let me know what they are. Also, let me know if you like these fragrances. Do you have them? Do you wear them? Do you wish to get them? Let me know, let's get a conversation started. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. I know we're still kind of missing out on some winners claiming their prizes, so hopefully you'll click the notification so you won't miss out. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.